Hey y'all, Psychic Readings by Brandi here. I just recorded this video, but I lost it, so I had to re-record it now. I am making just a quick video here, shouting out to my fellow Leo moons. Any of you who have natal placements where your moon is in Leo, this video is for you. So, you may have heard the hype around your Leo moon. It's totally unfuckwithable. You are supposed to be this like boisterous, confident person who loves taking the spotlight. That's just how you feel like comfortable. But for me, for example, I'm a double Scorpio. It's always felt like something has been conflicting with the Leo moon piece. So I haven't totally felt comfortable with my Leo moon. I also have natal square Saturn. So if y'all are feeling kind of like your Leo moon just does not describe you, or maybe you feel like uncomfortable because the Leo moon just doesn't sit right with you, maybe you like don't like expressing yourself, or you don't like being, in front of people, I want you to check your chart to see if you have a square Saturn, because if you look up some information on that, you'll kind of find more about what I'm about to talk about. So anyone out there who is a natal Leo moon, like myself, and maybe doesn't feel like they fit in that stereotype, it may be because you have like some healing to do around that placement. So if you've gone through some sort of like emotional abuse, or like mental abuse, or if you were bullied or teased or something like that growing up, you just may not feel comfortable with your Leo moon placement, for example. Another thing that could kind of cause you to feel like just recently, blockages in your ability to really like fully express your Leo moon and be comfortable, like, holding that placement and that power. This whole past like couple of years here that we've been going through, it's been kind of like pulling us away from people. We've been having to get really creative with how we connect with others now. And there's not a ton of energy left in the day when it comes to connecting with other people, because we're doing so much and we're trying to keep ourselves nurtured emotionally in other ways. So like with 2020 and with 2021, it can be harder for those Leo moons, because they feel like they need that kind of stage to shine on, or they need those connections with people. Those moments where they can have humor and kind of like be a kid and have fun. And so with kind of the heaviness of the last couple of years, it's been kind of a difficult placement for people to really feel like anything's natural, not just because of the stuff that's been happening, but on top of it because of the placement too. So a couple of the things I wanted to mention, some tips for people who are Leo moons and they just don't feel like that, placement describes them. They feel awkward or out of place about it. You just may have some healing to do around your Leo moon placement. And one of the things that you may need to do is work on that self-confidence a little bit. Healing from some trauma, or healing from maybe some abuse. Maybe you were teased or made fun of and told that your ideas weren't important when you were younger. That stuff really sits with a kid, for example, and that can carry with them into adulthood, if they don't have that nurturing environment. So people with the Leo moon placement, if you feel like it just doesn't describe you, kind of take a look at like your environment and see how different things might have impacted you growing up, and see if there might need to be some work done to heal. Some talk therapy, or, maybe you need to work on getting comfortable expressing yourself again. Like for me, being in front of this camera is terrifying, but for some reason, when the moon is in Leo, I feel like I can just hop on and do this, no problem. So one of the ways Leo moons can express themselves, it's kind of like you want to bring like warm, fun, childlike energy to the surface. So you can start just by doing like silly stuff at home, singing along to music, you know, like dancing in the kitchen while you're cooking, you know, stuff like that, private stuff, you know. And sometimes when like the depression is heavy, that stuff just doesn't even seem like, you know, plausible. You're just like, oh, nope, things are heavy right now. So working through all that funk, trying to break up that energy and take up space and move and heal through your movement and through your expressions, through your singing, storytelling, writing, ways that you can express yourself, making TikTok videos, you know, maybe you make a couple like cooking clips or something like that. Taking pictures on your daily walks if you take walks, or even for me, I like one of my favorite things to do in the morning is when I do my tarot card of the day, I'll take, you know, creative picture every day. And that's kind of like, that's something that's kind of meditative for me, but it's also kind of a way for me to show creativity, just a little bit, you know, here and there. So holding space for yourself to be silly, to be, you know, like childlike, and also holding space for you to express yourself. That's really important, because the more you do it, the more natural you feel. And the less it is about nurturing the ego, the more it is just about holding space for your child, like your inner child that maybe didn't have that space held for them when they were younger. So if you're a Leo moon and you're just not feeling, you know, like you totally resonate with that placement, again, there just might be some healing there. It's a tough one. The other thing that people learn later on as Leo moons is sometimes like their purpose is they feel like they need to, you know, nurture another. So like Leo moons are supposed to be excellent parents. I cannot attest to that yet because I'm not a parent yet, but I can't wait to be. So, you know, I've done a lot of work around myself and like my past with regards to like healing and emotions and stuff like that so that I can be a good parent for my kids in the future. So that's kind of like one way to kind of work through that energy also. The other thing I wanted to mention, I was just reading for a client and she's actually going into therapy and she's going to become a therapist. And I was talking to her about crystals that she could use. And I don't even know why I never made this connection before just this moment, or not this moment, but just tonight. But I actually purchased some sunstone for readings. So when I do readings with clients, I actually pick out crystals intuitively before I do my readings with them and before I pull cards. And so I pulled sunstone before I hopped on with her, and it just so happened that she's actually going into the field of therapy. Well, sunstone is actually a stone of leadership. So people who work with sunstone, it's a crystal that kind of like encourages you to be like an ethical and confident leader for like positive change. It's also like a really good stone to use for like depression. So kind of like breaking up any depression or like funk energy. It's really good to use for like seasonal affective disorder. So like if you're a person who, you know, maybe you're rearranging your furniture constantly in your house or your apartment, or like you need to change the paint colors up, try going with like, you know, warmer colors. If you're a Leo moon placement, that might kind of like bring a little bit more confidence into your space, like yellows and oranges. The other thing I wanted to mention is since I've been doing work on myself around my Leo moon and trying to heal so that I can feel comfortable with that placement and like really lean into it and like love it and like really express myself. I actually adopted a pet canary, and his name's Basil. You've probably seen pictures of Basil on my feed. Basil is the most beautiful color, yellow. And I really feel like Basil is like my Leo moon. And so like I'm I'm holding space for him. You know, I like nurture him. I sing with him. He loves to sing. He loves to listen to music. He's like hilarious. He flies everywhere he wants. You know, he's always hanging out. If I'm not paying attention to him, he has to like fly right in front of me so I can see him. So I mean, he just kind of reminds me to be playful and fun and just to like shine and like let my colors be bright. And to take up space and be comfortable doing that, because he's just a bird being a bird, doing bird things, singing his heart out, you know? So he's kind of like, I feel like he's kind of like my familiar now. So I hope you're all having a wonderful evening. I just felt like there's not a lot on Leo moons who may have like some baggage, or Leo moons who may kind of like have, you know, some injuries or whatnot that they need to kind of work through, some healing to do. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to get on here and I'm going to share some of these things for any of you Leo moons out there who might be kind of feeling this way too. Really, my heart goes out to y'all because it's, I mean, now that I'm like starting to lean into it, I think it's a really fun placement to have. But you know, when you're not a person who is like totally in tune with that placement, and when you haven't like had like a good footing to develop that placement up until now, like it's just kind of a tough one. So I hope you're all having a great evening. Enjoy this Leo moon that we're in currently as well. It's a great time to express yourself, to put on a cute outfit, to, you know, share your ideas with people, share your presence with people, and to just kind of have some fun. Yeah, be a big kid. So be warm and be happy. Thanks for tuning in. Mwah.